Hi, this is UK Match Angler TV. Now, a new brand that's just stepped into the match market are Hinders. Now, Hinders have been in the carp and specialist world supplying particles and feeds for many, many years with a superb reputation. Now, earlier this year, they took on the skills of Mark Pollard, who's also with Matrix, to develop and design their match range. What we're going to do now is hand you over to Mark Pollard, and he'll give you a brief insight into what the products are, what they're about, and what they have to offer you, the anglers.
Well, you can see we've got a small range here we've laid out on the table for you to see. If we start with what Hinders had in the range originally was their feed carp pellets. I've got here the 2.3mm, which a lot of people know as micros, which is superb for soaking. They don't stick together. It's probably one of the best micro pellets I've probably come across. Great to use, very easy to soak up. 10-15 minutes before you start the match, or if you want to do them the night before, they all soak up individually and break up. They're very good. Then obviously the feed pellets then, 4mm, 6mm, there's 8, 10mm. Ideal for fishing when you're shallow fishing, or if you're loose feeding in the margin, where a lot of people do feed pellets on these commercials for catching carp in the margins as well as shallow. But the range that I've been involved with, if we start here first of all, we've got an expander pellet. What's unique about these, we've called them Polly's Easy expanders, is it's a mixture of 4 and 6mm. So when you go in the shop to buy some expanders, you think, do I need 4, do I need 6, which is the most two common expanders used. You can buy one pack, it does all. You've got 4 and 6s. And when they soak up, because of the fine ingredients in them, they're like little tiny sponges. A real light brown colour, ideal for catching those carp, skimmers through the summertime and into winter time, where they're not a hard expander when they're soaked up. They're very soft, like a sponge. And then onto the ground baits that I designed with them. First one is this Polly's Punch Crumb. Now this has got a hint of aniseed. Now when I was a kid being brought up on canals, we used to have little tiny aniseed flavourings used to flavour their maggots with and put a little bit in their ground baits. And I mean, that was a long time ago, and we only used to have brown and white crumb, and we also used to put it in the ground bait. Worked brilliant for roach as a roach additive. Now I've brought this out with a hint of that aniseed, and also it's very easy to knock up. The mixture there is coarse and fine, whereas a lot of the punch crumbs on the market today are too fine, and you get a lot of clogging, you get a lot of waste. With this one, where it's much coarser, it's easy to knock up and you get less waste. And you always knock it up and run it through a riddle. And then the 3 main ground baits that I've brought out here, there's 2 what I call the commercial ground baits and 1 natural. Now I've brought a Supercharged Method mix and a Supercharged Margin mix. Now I've been experimenting mixing the 2 together, and they work very well, whether you're method feeder fishing or margin fishing, or if you want a real dark mix with the green, that's the method mix, you can use that in the margin. So although it's called a method mix, designed for fishing the method feeder, it's still at home fishing the margins as well, and uses just a carp ground bait fed on any commercial. But experiment yourselves, you can mix them 50-50, 3/4 one the other, no problem with mixing them together. But the ingredients that Hinders have sourced for me are probably the finest ingredients that they can get hold of. So there's nothing spared in the actual makeup of the mixture. But what I do like about the margin mix is it's got salmon fry, and all you anglers out there know that salmon fry carp find addictive. It really is a brilliant ingredient, but used too much I think it becomes too rich. So we've got aniseed in the margin mix, which just sends them carp when they're in a feeding frenzy. But obviously if you feed it right, not too much, you'll get more on the hook, because feed too much and you'll start getting foul lookers. But you can experiment yourselves, mix them both, 50-50, whatever, and not just the margin. You can use the margin mix for fishing the method, and vice versa. You use the method for fishing the margin, or like I said, mix them up. But my favourite that took quite a while mixing is the natural black, Supercharged Natural Black. And sorry, incidentally, they're in 1 3/4 kilo bags, and very good value for money. But this one there's a lot of hemp in here, and a lot of other bits and pieces that I shan't tell you about, but get in and give it a go. This I will use for all my natural fishing, be it on lakes, rivers, canals, Obviously, depending if it was canals, I'd use a finer riddle when I riddle it off to make it a finer mix, or if it's fishing on lakes and rivers, then obviously I use a larger riddle. Also, come the winter time, you can mix this with one of these margin mixes or the method mixes to give it that fish meal flavour that obviously on commercials, when you go silfish fishing, it's no good using a mix that hasn't got a hint of fish meal in, because it draws the skimmers in, which are probably the main quarry on most commercials, and with that mixed into this natural mix, you've got the best of both worlds. You've got a fish meal silverfish mix. And leading on to just a few baits I've got here, we've got some white plum, tutti frutti and almond flavoured liquids that you can flavour your own pellets, and you can even flavour your natural white and brown ground bait if you wanted to do that. But what they are ideally designed for is flavouring your pellets. And also in the range we've got some pellets. We've got a tutti frutti almond and white plum flavoured pellet, being the white plum being a white pellet and the almond being a more reddy pellet and the tutti frutti more an orangey pellet. But they've been infused with the flavours. So if you use them as, ideally used as banded pellets, if you're feeding sort of the normal carp pellets mixed in with your method mix, putting one of these on the band, it just sticks out. It's a slightly different colour, and the flavours that they're giving off, obviously the carp will home in on them, and that's what they're designed to do, is for the carp to come in, take your hook bait quicker, pick it out quicker, then you get a bite quicker and get a fish quicker. Available in the shops now, so give them a go and I'll see you on the bank.